In a small village nestled on the edge of a deep forest in the Central Highlands of Vietnam, there is an ancient legend that has been told for generations. The legend tells of a magical bond between humans and wild animals, especially tigers, the spirit of the green forest. The people believe that every time a child is born during a full moon, a tiger spirit will be sent down to protect that child for the rest of its life. But no one dares to verify it because the presence of tigers is always associated with danger. In 2025, in that village, Linh Ma Yarsh Min Yao Yao gave birth to a baby boy named Nam. The night of birth coincided with a bright full moon, and a strange wind blew through, carrying a low roar from the deep forest. The villagers were excited, whispering that Nam was a special child, chosen by a tiger to be its spirit child. Linh, though worried, still hugged her child tightly and hoped that it was just a myth. One early morning, when Linh put Nam in a homemade cradle on the porch to get some fresh air, she suddenly heard the rustling of leaves. Turning around, she was stunned to see a giant white tiger stepping out from the shade of a tree. Its fur glistened in the sunlight, its golden eyes staring straight at Nam. Linh wanted to scream, but strangely, the tiger only lowered its head, exhaled a warm breath, then lay down next to the cradle as if guarding. Nam, instead of crying, smiled in his sleep, his small hands reaching out to touch the tiger's soft fur. The news spread quickly. The village elder, the keeper of the legend, came to see and confirmed. That is the white tiger, the guardian spirit. But it will only stay if the family accepts the forest promise to protect each other. Linh was bewildered, but in her heart she felt a strange peace. She named the tiger Bach as a promise. In the following days, Bach became Nam's shadow. It never left the child's side, not even for a step. When Nam cried, Bach growled softly like a lullaby. When Nam laughed, it tilted its head in response. The villagers gradually accepted Bach's presence, even considered him part of the family. Linh began to record these moments, hoping that one day her son would understand this magical story. But the peace did not last. A group of poachers, hearing about the rare white tiger, secretly sneaked into the village. They brought guns and traps, determined to capture Bach at all costs. One night, while Linh and Nam were sleeping, gunshots rang out. Bach roared loudly, rushed out to confront the poachers, using his body to shield the small house. Linh hugged Nam and ran into the forest, her heart pounding, tears mixed with sweat. In the forest, Linh lost her way. Nam cried bitterly from hunger and cold. Suddenly, Bach appeared, one shoulder bleeding, but his eyes still steadfast. It used its nose to push Linh and Nam into a cave, then turned to face the approaching poachers. The fight was fierce. Bach used his strength and intelligence to distract them, but the wound weakened him. A bullet almost hit Nam, but Bach rushed forward, took it, and fell next to the child. Linh cried out, hugging Bach and Nam. She begged the green forest to save her son's friend, and miraculously, the full moon shone down, a ray of light covering Bach. The wound began to heal, albeit slowly. The poachers panicked, running away when they heard the roars of other tigers in the distance, as if the whole forest was protecting this small family. Bach survived, but from then on it appeared less often, only occasionally visiting Nam as the boy grew up. Nam grew up to be a strong young man, inheriting the story of his mother and Bach. He became a forest protector, committed to keeping the promise of his ancestors. The image of Bach lying next to Nam as a child was kept by Linh in a video, with the words 1/0 kiss, a symbol of eternal love, overcoming the boundary between life and death. Years pass. Nam is now a 25-year-old man, with a tall figure and eyes that carry the light of the green forest. He became the leader in protecting the primeval forest, along with a team of local volunteers. Bach, although age has turned his white fur gray, still appears occasionally, standing from afar, observing Nam like an old but proud teacher. The bond between them does not need words, just understanding looks. But fate tested them one last time. A forest fire caused by the harsh weather of 2045 broke out, threatening the entire area that Nam and his team were protecting. The fire spread quickly, and thick smoke obscured the sky. Nam led the team to evacuate the villagers, but he knew that Bach was still deep in the forest, where the fire was raging fiercely. His heart sank. Memories of his childhood with the white tiger flooded back. He decided to go back, despite the danger. When Nam found Bach, the tiger was exhausted, lying by a dry stream. The fire was surrounding him, but Bach still tried to roar, as if wanting Nam to leave. Tears rolled down Nam's cheeks as he knelt down, placing his hand on Bach's head. "Thank you, my friend," he whispered. Bach closed his eyes, his breathing gradually weakening, but on his face was a peaceful smile. A strong wind blew, carrying a distant roar, as if the spirit of the forest was welcoming Bach to eternity. Nam escaped the fire with the help of the rescue team, but he carried with him a deep sadness. The fire was finally extinguished, and the forest gradually revived. Nam erected a small stele by the stream, engraved with the words, "Bach, Spirit of the Green Forest, Eternal Friend." From then on, he continued his mission to protect the forest, not only because of his ancestors' promise, but because of his love for Bach, the one who sacrificed everything. Under the full moon of an autumn night, Nam stood at the edge of the forest, looking into the distance. The image of Bok lying next to him as a child appeared in his mind, like a beautiful dream. He smiled, knowing that Bok's soul was still there, in every treetop, every sound of wind. Linh, now old, put her hand on her son's shoulder, tears falling silently. "You kept your promise," she said softly. Nam nodded, feeling the peace that enveloped him. "Thank you for accompanying the story. I hope this story about the magical friendship between humans and nature has touched your heart." Thanks.